What's up, good people? Um, Happy Monday to each and every one of you. I pray that you are having a good day. Hold on one second while I get some stuff situated on my end. So this is why you running when you running a one man show. When you running a one man show, kind of goes like this. So happy Monday to each of you. Let me increase this a little bit. Hope. What's up? What's up? What's up? I'm seeing a few of you all down in the comments. Uh, so a few things we're gonna talk about today, man. It's gonna be great. Hey Monica. Hey Jillian. Miss Johnson. What's up? What's up? Born to Inspire. Born to Inspire You University. Um, what's up, Danielle? Cynthia. What's going on? Let me do a quick post real quick in my story to tell people I am live right now. My plan was to get my plan was to get on a little bit early and kind of be on here a little early and yeah. Didn't happen the way I thought that it would, but hey, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Hello, hello. What's up, V? What's up, Natasha? Coco Kitty. What's going on? I just pray everybody's had and having a great Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend. Um, and let me see. Today has been a little it's been productive, but it's also been a little sad today. The Find out the information of Malcolm, the passing of Malcolm Jamal Warner, uh, has been. I don't know. You know how. Um, I know of you. I know a few of you all got the email last week that had a death in the family, and just that death, and and then although I never had met Malcolm Jamal Warner, I wanted to meet him. I felt like he was amazing. One of the things that I loved growing up, um, I still watch the Cosby Show every day now. If I'm all the way honest, I watch the Cosby Show every single day. Those that know me know I watch the Cosby Show every single day. I get made fun of because I watch nothing but old shows. People joke with me all the time about it. People tell me when I'm going start watching new stuff and blah 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 blah. I watch new stuff, and we're gonna have some time where we dive into we're gonna have some time where we dive into um, um, some of the content stuff and things in which that series and breakdown series for those that are into those type of things like myself. We're gonna have some time where we do that within our community, but I will say that watching it just feels like it feels like that cousin, it feels like that big brother, it feels like for a lot of us that uncle. Yeah, the old stuff is always better, man. um that's what it feels like. It feels like someone in your family passed away, like someone that you knew, someone that watched you grow up, and maybe even for me, it felt like somebody that championed for certain perspectives or certain thoughts. I don't know. It just feels different. and so I wanted to I don't know, it's just been kind of a weighty day, but um I will say that that we get a chance to still experience him and his work and his art through his poetry, through his albums that he has done through of poetry, and then we get a chance um, to experience him through his art and through his craft, acting, directing. One of the things that I was saying when I grew up that I love to watch and see was when he was strictly an actor, but then when he started directing episodes of the Cosby Show and seeing his name as the director, and I used to always look for his name and which episodes he directed. I thought that was so dope, like to start out as a childhood actor and then turn into a director of a show, and then someone like a Bill Cosby to give you the confidence, the vote of confidence to direct episodes of his show after he watched you grow up and coached you. I just felt that that was super dope. That someone like a father figure. I'm not getting into the personal things of Bill Cosby, but someone like a father figure to believe in you in such a way that he pushes you and allows you to operate on his platform and do what he does. I felt that that was just super amazing. And for someone that longed for that type of relationship with a father figure, male figure, it was something that I really aspired to connect to and to be a part of. So I felt that that was super dope. But we're going to get into some stuff, man, today. So, we're just taking a moment to honor Malcolm Jamal Warner and his life before we dive into this, because I feel like it's necessary. I feel like for Black culture, it was necessary. And not just for Black culture, just but for any artistic expression for any culture, it's necessary. So, today we're about to talk about a few things, man, and I'm gonna be very kind of candid, honest. We know what Mentorship Monday is, and if this is your first time being with us for Mentorship Monday, we welcome you. Mentorship Monday is a space um, for us to share failures, for us to share growth, and I pretty much put it on display. All right. So what the issues may be, um, I am I treat my life as an open book for you to gain some level of information, wisdom, or pull um, pull something from. So today's topic is I failed. Now what? I failed. Now what? Now I know that for a lot of us, we have come to the ultimate goal and the ultimate realization of we never really fail, right? If you learn, then you did not fail. I think I haven't watched the totality of the episode yet, but it's the King's Den. I think that's what they're calling it, with Kurt Franklin, and this new episode with Jeezy, um, Tyler Perry, um, David that does the cheesesteaks. And I think that there was a clip that's been already circulating of of um of Tyler Perry saying, every loss or every failure, everything that didn't go the way in which that I thought that it would, was like a wall being placed into me in a maze to tell me don't go down this way and to turn this way. So he says I don't look at any quote unquote failure or anything that didn't turn out the right way as a failure. I look at it as a lesson. And I do think that that's very true. But then also at the same time, I think that we all come to a place in life, whether that's privately or publicly, where we have to endure a certain hardship. And some of us get the luxury of failing in private. And then some of us go through the scrutiny of failing in public. And then everybody that has some level of opinion gets to weigh in on if that level of failing or that level of whatever happened was warranted to you based upon their level of opinion. And one of the things that I learned over, I think, over the past 2 weeks is that, like, even those that are close to me, when I went through multiple back to back public failures, whether that was from me with the church, or me in connections and friendships and relationships, or whatever the case is, um, whatever dynamic it was, I have learned that even those that were close to me felt that I was owed some level of public failure. And so, um, the challenging part to that is realizing that for a lot of people, they view exposure as accountability. So, but exposure and accountability are not the same thing. So we'll tell, well, well, I feel like you should have been held accountable to this. Being held accountable to something and being exposed in another area are not the same thing. And I think we oftentimes weigh in on that. That's really not what we're here to really kind of dissect. The concept that we're here to dissect is, after you have failed privately or after you have failed publicly, now what? Because what I've learned is that if you're not careful, you will begin to take on the identity of what people try to press upon you, and try to, if they threw you away, you may even throw yourself away. And whether that's in business, whether that's in relationship, whether that's in whatever it may be, if you're not careful, you'll begin to embody other people's perspectives as your reality. You'll begin to embody other people's perspectives as your reality. And here's the challenging part: as messed up as you might have been, um, or as not as thought out as your business plan should have been, if you failed in business or if you failed in relationship or whatever the case is, that maybe you didn't do everything right, that is not the by all end all to your story. And if you're not careful, you will try to make that your by all end all to your story. You will begin to tell yourself, you'll begin to tell yourself that you know what, like, whatever they said that I deserve, that's what I deserve. When in all actuality, that's not the case, and that's not the truth. We'll begin to You'll be what you have to do is that you have to continue to contend for yourself when nobody else is contending for you. Even even you as a multi hyphenate gifted person, maybe, just maybe, that business in that particular area did not work because God wanted you to start up in this particular area. But it does not mean that that business is not something that you were supposed to be doing. So, like, for example, if you were trying to start up a fitness line, and that fitness line did not work out, right? But also, while you were starting up a fitness line, you were starting up a fitness line, and you were designing clothes with your fitness line. But while you were doing that, you were also training people. But then also, while you were training people, you were doing meal preps for people, right? But the fitness line, due to manufacturer issues, due to whatever, did not work, and it failed. And then you begin to look at it like, oh my God, I'm a failure. This did not happen for me, and I'm upset that it didn't happen for me. And you begin to put so much emphasis on that, right? You begin to put so much emphasis on the fact that something did not translate the way that you felt or that you thought that it would. And so you'll put so much attention towards that particular thing that did not work, that you will stop looking at the things that are working. So let's say even though the fitness line is not working, but you training is still taking off. Are you doing meal preps? Is still taking off. The challenging part to any area where you failed is that you spend too much time focusing on the area that you failed, because you will stop looking at every other thing that's working right, every other thing that is going well. You won't pay attention to that. And that's much like our life in general. Now let's get into the generalization of this, because also as you're doing content, as you are on social media and all of these things, our greatest focus at times is always the negative. And so we spend so much time. It's just like I was scrolling on somebody's post earlier today, and it's a guy that I love his content. I really, really love his content. And every now and then he gets so fixated on responding to people that say negative things. And so at times I would just go in his comments to see who he's responded to and what he said, because he is the king of clapbacks. And I love it at times, but it just made me think about us in our everyday life. What we tend to do is that we tend to always focus on not like he had like over, I think it was like over 1,500 comments on his post. But the only comments I saw him respond to were people that were talking negatively towards him. And what I realized was, man, like that's us in our lives. We tend to only focus in what's not working, that we no longer see what is working, and we can't see that maybe God is directing us to put attention into the other areas that are working right now, and then he's saying not yet on the area that did not work yet. It doesn't mean a no for forever. And what usually happens with us is that we take this no for the moment and then we apply it to a forever. And then we'll say, man, I failed in this, right? This didn't work for me. Man, this didn't pan out for me. Man, I wish that this would have turned out this way. And although we can wish that, we put so much time, effort, and intentionality into this one particular area that now what we're doing is the other thing that's working, we're not even paying attention to. It's like that child. It's like that child in school, and a few of us may have been that child in school where literally, all the kids that are making good grades aren't getting levels of attention. But then the one that's acting out gets the level of attention. So then all of a sudden, the one that's making good grades decides, well, let me act out a little bit, because the teacher ain't coming. The teacher ain't coming to come and check on me. The teacher ain't coming to talk to me at my desk and make sure I'm good and give me all this extra attention. And so we tend to consistently focus in on the negative thing, onto the negative things. And so if this area or this particular thing did not work, my question to you is, now what? Now what? And so what I'm trying to condition myself from even in public stuff, even in private stuff, even whatever it is, what I'm trying to condition myself, and I'm putting this on the screen because I want to come back to this. What I'm trying to, because this is actually my first point. What I'm trying to condition my mind around is this: is if it did not work out, I don't get the choice. Hear me when I say this. I don't get the choice or the privilege to tell God how he's going to destroy what possibly could have destroyed me. And this goes to business. This goes to relationships. This goes to friendships. You don't get the choice to sit back and say, God, destroy it this type of way. Tear it down this type of way. Remove it from my life this type of way. God is saying, yo, like, I got the right to remove it however I want to remove it. And because I have the right to remove it however I want to remove it, sometimes I have to remove it from you violently. or remove it from you. And it may cause a level of heartbreak because you really wanted it to work, or you really thought that this was going to be the thing that did it for you, or this was going to be the opportunity that opened up all the doors for you. And could it be the reason why God didn't allow it to work out like that is because you thought that you had it all figured out, and you thought that this was going to work a specific type of way. And God had to tell you, your ways are not my ways, and your thoughts are not my thoughts, and you do not have me figured out. So when what God has to do is that he has to show you literally, you aren't smarter than me. And rule number one, point number one, however you want to write it, if you taking notes, is this: we just don't like to hear no. And what I want you to do is that I want you to stop feeling the way that I don't like to hear no, and start loving no. This is what I want you to do. I want you to start loving no. That when it is a no, let me say this. When it is a no, that literally means that you stop wasting effort, time, energy towards an area that you know that God is giving you a no in. I would much rather have a no. I would much rather have a no. I would much rather have a no than still working towards an area and not knowing if it's a no or not, putting all my time, effort, and intentionality in the area, not knowing if it's a no or not knowing if it's, if God is blessing it or not knowing if God's hand is on it or not. But if I know that it's a no, listen, I may cry for the moment, but it may save me in a lifetime. Like, I know it's a no. I finally know it's a no. And I can sit in the fact that, man, Lord, thank you for some no's. And if we actually sit and think about this for real, if we actually sit and think about it for real, do you not understand that you will start to really start to love the no's of God? You really would be like he said no. I wanted to say yes, and I was trying to force yes, and he was saying no, and I really was trying to force yes on business, on people, on friendships, on relationships. I was really trying to force yes, and he was saying no. And sometimes he has to violently press on a brake so that it will not break you. And one of the things that I've just come to the grips with is that the no gives me the yes to my next. The no gives me the yes to my next. If I don't have a no, then I don't know if what my next may be if I'm not supposed to be doing this. Like, I really want to know. And for a lot of us, we always say, like, we want to be in the will of God. I want to be in the will of God. I want to be in the perfect will of God. Well, and I think that a part of being in the perfect will of God is also knowing where he says no, because if I am doing something that he's not there or he's not in, then guess what? Guess what? Yo, I need to stop doing it. But it's going to come probably from the lens of what you deem or what you view as a failure. It did not work. It did not work. And that's okay. You do not, I believe once we get to this place of maturity, right? Once we get to this place of maturity, we can look at it like you're growing up, right? You going from adolescence to trying to step into adulthood or go into some level of maturity, right? One of the things with my dynamic with my, my relationship with my mom. I started to realize, and I'm still realizing now at this grown age, certain things that my mom was telling me, hey, no, don't do that. No, don't eat that. No, you need your food first. When you wanted dessert before you wanted your food. You know, I realized when my mom was telling me, no, you're not gonna drink Kool-Aid right now. You need water right now. All of those things. And now as an adult, I sit and I look at it and I'm like, man, Mama sure was right. Yeah, I need to drink more water. Yeah, I need more electrolytes. Yeah, I need more nutrients. Yeah, I need. And then you start to really, you know, you start to really think about why somebody was telling you no after you have been told no, and after you have to sit in that no for a while. Because you start to realize that the person that told you no probably is not trying to withhold anything from you. They're trying to tell you no because they see something through levels of maturity and through levels of life and through from their vantage point that has the opportunity to possibly hurt you. And you start to look at it from a different lens to say, man, you know what? This wasn't them rejecting me. This was a level of protection that was helping me for my later on, or who I needed to be, or who I needed to become. You know, I had to I had to I had to learn. Um, there's a scripture that literally says, "No good thing will I withhold from you." Um, uh, no good thing will I withhold from you. And what I realized was, um, whenever God delayed something, didn't allow something, told me no to something, told me not yet to something, because there were certain times God told me not yet. It wasn't because he was trying to withhold something from me. It was because he was trying to do something in me. So if you're taking notes, number one was, yo, I need to fall in love with no. Number two, he's not trying to withhold anything from you. He's trying to hold on to it, to the version of you that can appreciate what he has in store for you comes to fruition. There's a level there is a there is a version of you that you have not even seen yet. And what I'm realizing is that when I ask the question, or when I make the statement, I failed, but then now what I realized was the now what process requires me, hear me when I say this, it requires me to step into a level of myself that I did not know existed. So there's a version of me that is in demand that I become, so that I can achieve or have the thing that God desires for me to have. It's if in your business model, in your building anything, in your thought process of you becoming everything that you believe that you are supposed to become, and that God is telling you that you're going to become, in that process there is a grooming that needs to happen for you to be able to maintain what he wants to give, so that you can not just have it for the moment, but have it until you desire, or until you say, or until God says this is enough. And I think that one of the things that I have come to the realization of is like, yo, God, I want you to bless it to the point where I can have it until you tell me, yeah, it served its purpose for you. I don't want you to strip me of anything else prematurely, all because I messed it up. Because there's a lot of things. Now, this is where we're tapping into the whole mentorship aspect. There's a lot of things that God had to strip me of, that I felt a way of, right? That I felt a way about, that I felt, man, like, God, why would you do that? You know, and not looking at the fact of I was doing it because I wasn't ready for that, and I destroyed it. And it's very easy for us to always look at and blame God for what God is choosing to do without looking at ourselves of what our actions put God in the position that he had to do. So if we're going to act, a certain type of way, or we're not going to mature in a certain thing, and I do believe that sometimes, like, God will give us something to say, let me see how you gonna act when you get this. Now he knows how we're gonna act, but I do believe, like, certain things, like, he shows up and is like, all right, you say you want this, let me go ahead and give it to you. People of Israel, they wanted a king. Let me go and give y'all Saul. That's who y'all wanted. That's not who I wanted, but let me go and give y'all who y'all wanted. Y'all wanted Saul. So let me go and give y'all him and see how it turns out for y'all, until y'all got to turn back to me and pray that. So certain times I believe we can ask for things, right, that the version of us is not ready for. And God in his infinity will say, all right, cool, I give it to you, just to show you why you should trust me every time. And I'm saying this, because there were a lot of things that I believe, because I was postured right, that God blessed me with, but he gave it to me to see if it would mature me, and it didn't. And he knew it, but it was for me to sit back. And now here is the challenging part, that after something is given to you that you mismanage and now it's gone, are you going to sulk and live in regret for the rest of your life and talk about all the things that you had at your fingertips that you did not manage well, that you did not handle well, that you did not do well? Or are you going to say, man, you know what? Let me get back. Let me grow into a version of myself that God would be proud of, so that when he gives it to me, if he chooses to do it again, I won't repeat the same thing. Now, and I understand that there'll be plenty of people that will tell you that you're not worthy of getting it again, because you messed up the first time. And those people don't understand the dynamic of grace, and those people aren't honest about even their own lives, because there are so many things that in our own individual lives that God has continued to bless us over and over and over and over again. And it could be because we view things like opportunities bigger than other things. So if we look at, well, God, I don't want God to bless them with another opportunity, they mess it up, blah, 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 blah. But just look at your own life. I don't know your life. If you ever watched the movie Baby Mama, it's actually on Netflix right now, but I think it's leaving soon. I saw it the other night. There's a line in that movie that cracks me up, and that movie is a comedy, and those two together, they're just amazing. But she says a cuss word, and she says, "I don't know your life," and so I don't know your life, so I can't tell you the times where maybe you have gotten something and squandered it. But if I could prophetically speak, that although you may not have had major opportunities yet, but maybe you have that, you didn't manage well. I can say all of us have had money that we didn't manage well, that God continued to give us money. He continued to put new dollars into our bank account when we mismanaged. He continued to so if he can do that from a money standpoint, that's my favorite part of the movie too. If he could do that from a financial standpoint, how come he can't do it with the opportunity standpoint? Because we'll spend so much time crying about the opportunities that we miss that we forget that God is still giving us opportunities today. Listen, that's that's what Aaliyah said. That's what evangelist Aaliyah said. If at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. Now, and I know that's easier said than done. So I'm gonna get into a few things real quick before we get off, because it's very easier said than done. We could say all day long, well, it didn't work, dust yourself off, do it again, bounce back, blah blah blah. I get it. We can say that. But how do we begin to honestly believe that and embody that? Because here is the reality. It's going to take some time, and it's going to take a level of community around you. It's going to take a level of community around you that pours back into you levels of confidence. Listen to me very carefully. When you are trying to get back to a space where you feel like, man, I dropped the ball here. I'm not talking about God. I'm not talking about who hated on you. I'm not talking about because all of us, in areas where we may have dropped the ball, in areas where we may have failed, we can point out people that failed with us or people that played a part in us failing. I'm not talking about them, because I can look at my life and the areas where I failed, even as a pastor, and look at those that I employed, those that I paid mortgages to for, those that I paid light bills for, those that I paid car notes for, those that I paid school tuitions for, and watch them. And I still have every right, because what people will tell you, because you messed up, you don't have a right to feel a certain type of way. That's a lie. That's a lie. Because just because I messed up on Victory Street, don't mean I can't be mad about what happened on Platt Street. I can mess up over there, and I still can be mad about something over here because I didn't mess up over here. So what people will try to make you feel, what people will try to make you do is like, oh, well, you need to be held accountable for where you messed up. Yes, I do need to be held accountable for where I messed up over there, but what about the people that I didn't mess up? So what you have to understand, and what you have to understand is that what do you need? Because it's very easy for us to look at everybody else, and for a season you will do that. You will look at everybody else like, yo, like they did and they did, and I helped them, and I did this and I did this and I did this. And you are going to go through that process because you're human. And then anybody that demonizes you for going through that process hasn't been through it, and they lack grace, they lack compassion for it because they haven't endured it, and that's okay. But one of the things that I will tell you is that you're going to go through that process, and you're going to look at other people, and you're going to go through a process where you blame other people, and you're going to be like, yo, like I'm not all guilty in this, and you're not. But somebody is going to pay for it. And so when you start to begin to look at yourself, then that's when the healing begins, right? So you'll look at it and you say, yo, all right, cool. I failed. I did this wrong. I did this wrong. I did this wrong. And this is the way I looked at it. I told myself, I said, even if I didn't do all that people said that I did, and even if I didn't treat people the way that they said that I did, and even if I didn't do X, Y, and Z, I'm guilty because I let my guard down. I'm guilty because maybe I didn't tap into more discernment. Maybe I let people in too easily. Maybe I got too comfortable. Maybe, you know, man, like, and maybe I didn't do that, but I did do this. Like you gotta start to be honest with yourself. Yeah, I didn't, I didn't, I didn't eat all the Reese's cups, but I ate all the gummy bears. Like at some point you got to be like, you know what, like, yeah, okay, yeah, ooh, yeah, they're right there, yeah, I did do that, and then, if you want to be all the way honest, now this for my real, like this for the, I mean, like the like the realist in the room. If you want to be all the way honest, you'd be like, yeah, I didn't do that over there that they said that I did, but I did some stuff that they didn't even know that I did. Now, that's some, uh, uh, you be like, they didn't even know I did that. So, the stuff they talking about, okay, all right, cool. But yeah, because there's some stuff that they don't know nothing about that the Lord still come. See, and that's what I mean by we can get so fixated on what the Lord is tearing down that we're not honest about what the Lord is still keeping up. So, like when I was using the analogy of the fitness business, yeah, like, the clothing side of it didn't work, but you'll forget the stuff that he is keeping up. So, yeah, you may not have did that, but you did do something. And there's some stuff that God did not uncover. Now, we don't, I don't know. I don't know how honest you want to be. I don't know. But and after you go through these myriad of emotions, whether it's anger, should I say? Sorry, whether it's anger, whether it's frustration, whether it's disappointment, whether it's shame, um, 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 when you get to that point, after all of those emotions, now you sit with it and you say, you know what? What's next for me? Because surely God is not giving me every day that he's given me after all of this failure, after things didn't work out. Surely he's not giving me more days for me to live in consistent shame. No, he ain't doing that. So you mean to tell me he gonna keep giving me days for me to keep reliving what didn't go right? He gonna keep giving me more days to keep thinking about how hurt I am. He gonna keep giving me more days to keep thinking about how, like all the things I did wrong. Like, no, surely he's not doing that. And then so now you start to think, and this is the reason why one of the first things that you need during this time of 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 you getting to a place of now what is you're going to need a community of people that don't keep reminding you of where you failed. That community may not be big. That community may be a remnant of people. But you don't need people to remind you of where you failed. You need a community of people that remind you of who you are. Because your failure will try to speak louder than who you are to try to tell you this is now who you are. Because the failure is contending for your identity. Let me say that one more time. The failure is contending for your identity. And if you're not careful, what you will do is that you will begin to take on the identity of a failure, because the failure keeps speaking louder than the voices of the affirmations of the real identity of who you are. The wrong thing for you to do is to keep reliving what you did, or the failure, or where you failed, or the past situations. That's the wrong thing for you to do. The right thing for you to do is to come into the realization, yes, I ain't gonna say made a mistake. Yes, I made bad decisions. Yes, I made horrible decisions. Yes, I did the best that I could with the information in which that I had at the time. I thought that I had to do that, even though I didn't have to do that. Whatever the case is, but I have to come to the realization of it. Apologize to those that are willing to hear it, and then forgive yourself for how you moved when you moved the way that you moved. Then after that, yo, we got to remind ourselves of who God said that we were. And nowhere is it wrong to speak well of yourself just because people are mad about you, or just because you mad at yourself. You still have to learn that, yo, I need a community of people that can speak well about me, even when I want to speak bad about me. I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you right now, shame will try to grip you to make you feel that this is the way you're always going to be, or this the way it is always going to be. And that's not true. The now what means so much. And honestly, I believe the now what means more than what has been. Because the now what is saying, all right, what's up next? What we finna do? What are we about to do? Because we can't continue to spend our life reliving and replaying what we did wrong, because what we did wrong has already been done. What we did wrong, it's been done. What we did wrong is out there now. So what do we do next? And if this thing did not work, and if this thing didn't go the way that we thought it would, if this friendship you realize wasn't a friendship at all, now what? Because you can't continue to keep reliving it. Yes, give your space to give your space. I mean, give yourself the space to grieve it, because that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna grieve it. It's gonna hurt for a season. It's gonna be like, man, I can't, man, this sucks. I understand. But you got to move on. And a part of moving on is coming to the realization that you deserve more. You deserve more, and you deserve better than what you even allowed yourself to live in. All I'm telling you is that a lot of times you may penalize yourself longer than what you need to. You may penalize yourself longer than what you need to. And now you're trapped into constantly thinking about, constantly reliving, and constantly being in a place of this dynamic. It's not fair to you, man. It's not fair to you. So my question is, what are you going to do now? How are you going to move forward? What are you going to draw from? And what are you going to build? Because you can't stop living, and you cannot. Joel Tubman said this to me And I say to me, I mean, we talked about it in his office after he preached it, but I was in Miami and I went to church and he preached his message and he said it in his message. Then we talked about it after service. He said, you can't throw yourself away just because they threw you away. And there'd be plenty of people that throw you away. But you can't do it to yourself, because I believe it's a slap in the face to God to tell God that your failure is bigger than his grace. I believe it's a slap in the face to God. That your mistakes are bigger than his grace. Or let's take it one step further. That you are pretty much telling God that you are the Alpha and Omega, that you are the beginning and the end, and you write your own story. Because if you give up now, you're saying, I'm taking the pen out of God's hand, even though he's already written it. I'm taking the pen out of God's hand. I'm going to write the rest of my story. And I know that in the storyline he had that I was going to create this next, and I was going to build this next, and I was going to do this next, and I was going to have this next. And I took that pen out of his hand and I ripped those pages out of my book of life. And I lived in shame for the rest of my life, and I hid up under a rock. Because what you are now doing is rewriting your own story because you don't like the fact of what happened in the story that was there. All I'm telling you is that you do not get the privilege to take the pen out of his hand. You don't. And so my question to you is, now what? Now what? It didn't work. Now what? Does that stop? You did a partnership with people and that partnership didn't work out. Now what? You tried a relationship. It didn't work out. Now what? You had a great friendship with someone, and come to find out, they just weren't a friend. Now what? All I'm telling you is that you have much more to do than what you have done. He who has begun a good work. Yeah. He who has begun a good work. And I know we get so caught up, and I'm talking to me. So I'm not saying you're alone in this. I'm not saying that, oh, y'all crazy if you, no, like, I'm just saying, like, yo, we all deal with it. But we also have the privilege and the right and the responsibility to get up and to keep going. I had to look at it like, yo, like, okay, I didn't do this right. I didn't do this right. I didn't handle this the right way. Okay. All right. I should have handled this better. Man. Yep, I should have. But. It's not the end. Because all of us, if we're honest, and majority of people don't want to be, because we can be honest with other people. We can tell other people like their areas of their mess ups or their shortcomings or their failures. We can be honest with other people and their dynamic. You know, we can be very honest with them. You this and you this and you this and you this and you this, but we don't like to be honest when it comes to us. But here's the reality: if we're honest, all of us fail. It may not be as what you view as big as somebody else's failures because we view other people mess ups far greater than ours. But we all mess up. We all trying to get it together. We all trying to figure it out. We all trying to we all trying to navigate this thing. What Prince say? We gather here today to get through this thing called life. All right. Like we all trying to do it. And people try to make you feel bad because you did it on a different level and maybe just maybe your failure was more broadcast than everybody else's failure, but it doesn't make you any different than anybody else just because they fail privately and you fail publicly. Yeah, people have a point of reference to laugh at and joke at and make fun of. But I guarantee you them laughs will stop once you keep going and they see that level of success. Because people are going to keep bringing up your failures for a season. And after they continue to see you keep winning, they'll realize that your failures did not define your winning. And then they'll shut up. And then they'll probably just continue to talk to people that'll be willing to listen. All I'm telling you, and Meek, I'm glad. Thank you for your vulnerability. Being said, I've had thoughts of not trying again because I don't want to deal with the disappointment. I'm glad that you said that, Mika, because a lot of us are in that space where we know what we're supposed to be doing, but we don't want to deal with the disappointment if it doesn't, if we have to fail again. But here is the reality. We only got two options. Either we're going to do it and be obedient, or we're not and be disobedient. And on one side of the obedience, even if it didn't turn out the way we thought, it's probably going to turn out better than what we thought if we are obedient. Even if we got to be disappointed for a season, it still will turn out better than what we thought. But in disobedience, it becomes nothing. And God can't make it better because we have chosen to be disobedient. It's our choice at that point. We've chosen to be disobedient. We made a decision to be disobedient. We made a conscious decision. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't want to do that no more. And what we're saying also too, yeah, y'all get us a thumbs up if this is helping you anyway. But also what we've done too is that we've told God that we could protect our heart better than he can protect it. So when we take on controlling certain aspects, we're literally telling God, I'm a better protector of my heart. I can protect me better than you can. I'm better at this. So I know better than you. So I'm not going to put myself in that position anymore. I know better than you. And he's sitting back saying, yeah, that's what you think. And if I'm honest, if I'm honest, even that thought of if I'm honest, man, um, the idea of you protecting yourself and you knowing better for yourself is an illusion that you feed yourself to make you feel good about it. It's never the truth. You know, we say stuff like we say stuff like, you know, can't nobody do me like the Lord can. You really believe that? Do you really believe that? Because if you really believe that, then even the things that he's telling you to do that seems terrifying, you still got to do it. You still got to jump out there because it's a matter of your obedience. And then when you think about it, your obedience is not all the way for you. Your obedience is for your kids. Your obedience is for the generation that is to come. Your obedience is for those that don't even know that they need what you are stepping into. But if we're rebellious and we don't create it, the people that need it the most after you never receive it. So this has very little to do with you, but there is a now what to you. There's definitely a now what. And my question to you, is how or what, should I say, what are you going to do on the other side of this? It happened. It failed. It didn't work. Let's just state the obvious. It didn't work. People laughed. Ha 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 ha. Congratulations. You were talked about on social media. Congratulations. You just put yourself in the realm of every other successful person on this earth. What I realized a couple of days ago is that certain levels of scrutiny, certain levels of being talked about, certain levels of failure, check the company that went through the same stuff that you went through. Just research it. Just research it. See who else is in that. See who else. You know how like you know how when you graduate, it's like the class of '02, the class of 25, the class of 18. That means y'all went through the same courses. Maybe y'all came in at the same time, but y'all are all graduating at the same time. Start researching who's in your class, who went through some of the same heartbreaks, some of the same failures, some of the same public things, some of the same processes and all that stuff. Who went through some of the same stuff? And see who succeeded in your class. Because when you look at who succeeded in your class, it may remove the excuse for you to stay up under the rock. Because there are people that succeeded in your class, and there are people that are succeeding in your class right now. I've had to do it. I've had to do it. And I've been doing it. So Um, I'll you guys can heart this if you um um yeah, you all can heart this if this helps you. Um, Lynn, thank you so much. Uh, oh man, listen. If it gut punch me, I gotta give it to y'all. I can't get beat up by myself. Y'all gotta get beat up with me. Okay. Um. So yeah, yeah. But are there any questions tonight? Hey, thank you so much. I trust me. I've tried to. I've tried to touch. I've tried to grab the pen from them. I've tried to rip up the pages. Trust me. Um, trust me. I've done it. But the Lord just won't allow me to. This ministry just looks different for me now, and through hurt, I think He found a way to position me, and He is finding a way. I'm not there yet, but He's finding a way to position me where He really wants me to be, and I'm still learning that. I'm still learning that. It's an everyday thing. Hey, I'm gonna say it like this: take it up with the Lord. Okay. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy, man. Well, I pray tonight really has helped you. If it has, share it with someone. Tell them, man, yo, go and listen to this hour. Um, I love doing these. I'm just trying to get better about my time in which that I can do these. A few quick announcements. We are. I'm committed to it. I'm trying to solidify. Mika, by the way, I got your text. I was checking one thing with Jay Bolin today for a location in Dallas, one more location in Dallas that we're looking at. But October 4th, we're in Dallas with it. I'm going to tell y'all right now because when I preached at Koinonia Church, KCC, they have been asking when our tickets going on sale. So I'm going to open up for the people that are part of the community first, and then but October 4th weekend, we will be in Dallas. That is the plan. If the Lord says the same, we're trying to we're trying to legit lock in a venue this week. This week, we're trying to lock into a venue. I don't have all the speakers lined up, but I cannot. I just can't. I just can't wait for everybody else to kind of get on board. I have to be obedient. That's a part of now what too, right? Um, because this is in my notes. I'm gonna throw this out here. This is in my notes. I'm gonna throw this out here real quick. After the now what, you also have to be okay with people with people garnering their own opinion and public opinion about your situation and deciding that they don't want to be connected to you anymore. And you have to be okay with that. And so a part of you being okay with that is understanding that, yo, like it is what it is. And so and you got to be willing to do it alone. You have to be willing to do it alone. Like I'll just say that. Whatever that is, you have to be willing to do it alone. Yeah. That's just yeah. I just leave it there. Whatever your thing is. And if you're not willing to do it alone, I question like if God will send help, but you have to be willing. You know, it can't be I'm gonna do this when I get help. It has to be I will do this alone if I have to. because you're not alone. You're with God, right? God is with you, should I say? um, and you're with him. But you have to have the courage to do it alone. Because if you're waiting on everybody else and everybody, because there'll be plenty of people that there'll be plenty of people that are um, that that will go silent on you just to see how you're just to see what your now what looks like, and then they'll pop back up like, oh, like it was almost like a misunderstanding, or they got super busy when you needed them the most. And here's the thing. One of the things that I realized, I'm gonna give you this nugget right here. There'll be people that are remaining quiet to see how you're going to operate, and then when a level of success in their eyes begins to take off, then they want to come back out and attach themselves to you and say, oh, well, man, I was just, oh man, I didn't know, or whatever the case is. um I, I'm gonna position it this way: you don't cut the head off every snake. Some snakes you quarantine, meaning I just know where to place you. I don't have to cut the head off and expose you and tell you that you fake and you're not a real friend and you this and this. Um, I ain't got to do all of that. I just know where to place you. No, we're not hanging out how we used to. No, we're not kicking it how we used to. No, we're not doing certain things how we used to. Nope, not doing none of that. But um, I know where to place you. And this is chess. This is not checkers. It's not about using people, but it is about being smart. And if you throw away everybody that violates you or everybody that hurts you, then you're probably not going to have a lot of people in your life. Or, well, I'm not going to say in your life, around your life. The people that are in your life are going to be in your life regardless. One of the things that I'm realizing is that when somebody wants to support you and somebody wants to love on you and somebody wants to be there for you, they will. And those that don't, they won't. And it's okay. It's okay. Yep. Just know where to place them. I quarantine you, put the lid on you, and watch you. Look at you. That's what's up. Hey, how y'all doing? um. So yeah, but I hope tonight helped for real, for real. I really do. And again, share this with somebody. Hearted. Man, I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the dialogue on here. I appreciate you guys being locked and being loaded today. And thank you so very much. Thank you for giving me the space last week. Continue to pray for our family. The funeral is Monday. And so we're trying to figure that stuff out. I just have this dynamic with grief, and there are a few of us that are in our community that are dealing with some grief right now, some hard grief. And so just know that I'm praying for you all as well. I don't want to call you out by name, just because I don't want to make it a thing unless you want to, you can share, but it's not my place to share that. But just know that I'm praying for you all as well. I love you guys. Thank you for all of your emails, your texts, your support, your DMs. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I owe a few of you all some edited pictures, so I'm getting on that this week. Just getting my bearings back, and also I got sick again. So I've been sick, man, for the past few days. um, and grieving while sick and all that other type of stuff. So I'm probably at like 85% right now. So I'm feeling so much better. So I needed last week. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you again from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys more than you know. Thank you for being a support to me. Thank you for being a community for me. I created the commerce community because we are multi-gifted, multi-hyphenate individuals, and the proper punctuation gives us the right to be more. And we're more than just one thing, but also two. when we need more than just one thing, we come together and we encourage each other. And I love that. And that's the way we treat our commerce conferences. That's the way we treat our commerce weekends. And I can't wait to see you guys in Dallas, October 4th weekend. And so, yeah, we locking in the location this week, and probably the tickets for you all will be emailed through Monica. The link will probably be emailed to you all by next week. And you guys go ahead and grab your tickets, and then we're going to start promoting it and all of the things. So, again, I love you guys. Thank you guys so very much. Thank you guys for being on tonight. And I just appreciate you for lending your time. I don't take it for granted. People don't have to listen to you. People don't have to hear you. People don't have to trust that God is speaking through a flawed vessel. But I thank you that you believe in me enough to know that he still can use, flawed me. So I love y'all, man. Y'all have a great night. And yeah, this will be up so you can share it with anybody you want to share it with. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good one.